man. Detroit versus everybody, man. Detroit, we rep the hardest, man. We gain the hardest. You know what it is, man. Detroit, CJ, holla at your boy when we get home.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, let's talk about yesterday's card. Let's give a review. We did go live. If you missed that last night, you missed a good live stream. We had Banco Boxing on. Check his channel out. We had Lion Killer Podcast on. Check his channel out right here on YouTube. Let's talk about yesterday's fight card. You had Malik Hawkins taking on Matias. You also had Xavier Martinez, who's trained by Diego Corrales', the late great Diego Corrales' stepfather. And then you had him taking on Moreo, who I fought King Tug at 26 and lost. I think it was last year he lost to him, or a couple years ago. And then you had the main event, Custio Clayton taking on Sergey Lipinets. So let's start with Malik Hawkins. Malik Hawkins came, I thought he won the first 2 rounds. Everybody else had him losing every round besides the first, but he got stopped somewhere in that fight. They called it. He's a TMT fighter. He looked good, man. He boxed well early on. And then Matias just, had no respect for his power. This dude, Hawkins, was 6 foot, and he didn't know how to use his reach. And he did the good thing. He started smothering Matias, to kind of take the leverage away from his power. But he can neither stay on the outside or consistently stay on the inside. Matias was just walking him down with his hands down, no respect for his punching power, working his body. Hawkins worked his body, but ultimately Matias was the better fighter. In the knockdown he gave Hawkins in that fight, it really wasn't a knockdown. It was a rabbit punch. But eventually, he just beat the guy down. See, being taller and bigger don't mean nothing. He's a 6 foot, 140 pounder. Didn't know how to use his height. Didn't have the stamina to go a long time and keep boxing. And once he became a sitting duck, and he couldn't stick a move no more. Matias, he just beat him up, and then the referee stopped the fight. His eye was swelled up. It was just levels to this, man. But you got to just wonder about the matchmaking about PBC, man, and TMT. They matchmake their fighters wrong, especially for the caliber of fighters that Mayweather Promotions got, which is not high. They don't do a good job as matching them well. But we're going to talk about matchmaking a little bit later in this video. But let's move on. The second fight, you had Xavier Martinez versus Moreo from Dominican Republic. And I was saying this on the live. It's just something about the Dominican Republic fighters. They always missing something. Rosario got everything. Okay defense, good power, good pressure. He just didn't have a jaw. Fortuna is missing something. And this Moreno kid, I seen him fight multiple times. He's a talented guy. He missing something. Martinez was beating him down for like 5 or 6 straight rounds. He won a round, and then he eventually knocked Martinez down, twice. Martinez said he thought one was a slip. No, you got knocked down. But in that fight, Martinez was controlling it. You can see Moreno was setting him up, for a shot, just setting traps. And if Martinez took his time, he fired his combinations off. He worked up and down. He didn't overcommit. And then when he did get knocked down late in that fight, or kind of in the middle of that fight, he got knocked down twice. He showed a lot of grit. He got off the canvas twice. He fought tough. He bit down. And I said if he made it out that round and he won this fight, he was gonna be a tough fighter to get out of there, and that's exactly what happened. He's a very, very tough fighter to get out of there. He's gonna be tough for anybody coming up because he got a real experience in there tonight. Now Moreno was making his 130-pound debut and he dropped him. So, some people might say he have a chin issue or, he dropped him in the 8th round, matter of fact, and they were saying he hadn't been past 8. They said he hadn't been past 8. So, the 8th round was the one he got dropped in. So he got to just work on his conditioning a little bit, but he got up and he got a second win, and he pretty much beat Moreno. Moreno just let him win. I guess he wasn't used to winning. He could have stopped that guy in that 8th round or whatever it was. And then pretty much, Moreno just was fighting like he was up on cruise control, and Martinez kept fighting, and Xavier, he won a hard-earned victory, man. I think he was TMT, I believe. Tough fighter, showed a lot of grit and determination. They just got to look at it and see that. I think he got hit with a left hook, or it was a right hook. I think Moreno's a southpaw, but he got dropped twice, and he gonna be better for it, man. So Xavier Martinez is the guy to look out for. He gonna be tough to get out of there now, man. They gonna know what to work on, but he just got caught and it happens. He was able to get off the canvas twice, and Moreno just gave him the championship rounds moving forward for the most part. But let's go to the main event. Custio Clayton. I felt that he beat Sergey Lipinets. He outboxed Lipinets easily. He just, once again, he from Nova Scotia in Canada. He was just missing being aggressive. He had Lipinets hurt like 35,000 times in this fight, but he couldn't close the show. And Lipinets better hope that he don't have to fight Qdoba, because Qdoba would have beat Lipinets last night if they didn't rob him. You know, Qdoba can move just like Custio Clayton can move. But he lucky that Visa got lost, because Qdoba can box his ass off. And Lipinets don't have no feet. He can't cut the ring off. You know, and then he tucks his chin, but then his head hangs over like this. You know, he tucked his chin, but his hand, he hunched over like this. And then he was getting, Custio could have hit him with all types of uppercuts. But he was killing him with the right hand on top to the temple. He just never followed it up. He'd beat him up with a combination, and then he'd move. Instead of beating him up and eventually stepping in and putting his punches together. Custio Clayton, he probably deserved to get robbed last night, because he did not know how to close the show. He should have closed the show. He could have been beating on Lipinets. He could have stopped Lipinets. He hurt Lipinets so many times. He gonna go back and watch that fight and say, you know what? I made a mistake. You know, I should have did this. I should have did that. Man, he could have followed up to the head, the body. You know, he had Lipinets hurt, and he just kept moving. He's just a finesse fighter. You know, he could have put left hooks, right hooks. He could have put all types of stuff against Lipinets. Lipinets don't know how to cut the ring off. He followed him. You know, Lipinets landed some good body work, but you could tell by Custio Clayton, he never stopped moving. So Lipinets wasn't even hitting him clean. That's how you know, the body shots come into effect, you know, when a guy stop moving and be stationary. Custio Clayton boxed for legit 12 rounds. So Lipinets couldn't really touch him. And when he did hit him, it was grazing shots, or he hit him early on, and he thought he was going to hit him, he was going to crumble. But it really wasn't no surprise to me, because, you know, Lipinets struggled with, who was that kid he struggled with? Bone, whatever his name is, Bone, you know, a few years ago in his welterweight debut. Bone really beat him, you know, and Custio Clayton really beat him, you know. You can make a case, Kondo beat him at 140 pounds for the IBF. You know, he always had problems with dudes that can move. You know, Lipinets, no matter if it's Buddy McGurf, Joe Goose, he just don't have no feet. But Custio Clayton for sure took that fight last night, but he deserved to get robbed, because he should have stopped Lipinets last night. And you know, Lipinets ain't no real contest. He ain't no real elite welterweight. He just can punch, but he don't got nothing else behind no punches. He don't have no good foot movement. So if you can stick and move, then if you can move him backwards, you probably gonna beat him as well too. So this is my opinion on that, man. But yeah, man, last night showed that PBC don't have great matchmaking, or Mayweather Promotions don't have great matchmaking. You know, I don't know if it was their call to put Custio Clayton in as a late replacement, which I'm glad they did, but Al Heyman needs better matchmakers. You know, and it's a crime. It's a crime to have the level of matchmakers that he got, because they just put their fighters in a position to lose. Rosario and Julian J. Rock Williams, Hot Rod and Marcus Brown back in the day. I mean, you could just keep going on. The whole card last night was bad matchmaking. You know, Marcus Brown and what's kid name, and John Pascal. You know, PBC got to find better matchmaking. Al Heyman, Floyd Mayweather, they got to find some professional matchmaking, because the way they matching their fighters up, they matching them against guys who styles is bad for them. You know what I'm saying? They matchmaking guys, you know, too early with hard fights. They not trying to build nobody up. It's just like they trying to make their fighters lose. You know, but then again, they don't want to make the good fights people want to see. They'd rather matchmake, you know, tough fights against lower level opposition, but not matchmake, you know, they top fighters versus, you know, other top opposition around boxing. But, you know, PBC got a matchmaking issue, you know, and they got to fix that expeditiously. You know, because they just a bad matchmaking company, and it take years. You know, it takes some real boxing aficionados. They just throw people in. Him, and they can fight. They don't even be looking. You know, Top Rank matchmake their kids perfect. But then again, they've been in the game for so many years. PBC, their matchmakers is Luis de Cubas, and somebody else is their matchmaker. They got to find a better way to matchmake. You know, because last night each guy they put in tough. You know, Martinez got in there with a guy. I'm like, he fight Morel. That kid can fight. But, you know, they should be better before a company that put an emphasis on, you know, he ain't matchmaking all his fighters like he matchmaking Tank and Floyd. But matchmaking is terrible at PBC, and they got to figure a way to fix that. But hey, Let me know what you guys think about the video, what you thought about the fight card last night. It is Tank and Leo Santa Cruz fight week. I will have a prediction video coming up for that fight. But don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links in the description. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well too. Best way to donate personally is to share the video. Please, 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 please share. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We gone.